I recorded this a bunch of different times and I couldn't find a really good way to lay out the facts of what happened when I got scammed by my local RV dealer. So I just went with it. This is the best I could come up with. This is as short as I could make it, so please bear with me. And if you don't watch the whole thing, just please grab it, share it with somebody who might have a camper, or anybody you might know that might possibly looking at a camper or getting a camper repaired, so that maybe they can learn from these mistakes. Just kind of think of it as like a Google review for this particular company, and also maybe a little bit of a guideline of things to look out for if you're getting a camper repaired. Hopefully I can help save anybody from making the same mistake. Don't go to Stoltzfus RVs. That should have been a red flag. Should have at that point, because of all the red flags, I should have canceled that. I should have gone to the insurance company to get them to reissue the checks without Stoltzfus RV on them.
They changed where it's mounted. So the wood sticks out past the panel and they straightened the panel out.
Hello and welcome to the camper, our home away from home, aka Sir Camps a Lot. Our family vacations are made possible by Sir Campy, as they like to call it. We've had this camper for 3 seasons now, so it still feels kind of new for us. Our family has been camping for many years, and this is our second camper, actually our third. We bought it for the layout. It fits all 5 of us. It allows us to easily set up without all the slide outs and all that. We have stopovers on many road trips, which are just like a quick sleep and go. We really love trying to see as many of the states as possible before our kids get too old or too cool for us. But this episode is a bit of a change from the norm in that I often see what I am working on. And I want to show you today how I got burned when I wasn't careful enough choosing a repair shop. Hopefully I can help save you some headache and expense that it cost me. It all began after an amazing trip my wife had planned last May. And if you're wondering, I am reading from a cue card because the last time that I tried this, it got really long. Last May, we went on a trip to Florida and we had a blowout on Route 95 South, which tore up the back area behind the wheel well. The damage was minimal and thankfully everyone was safe. We were protected from the situation. It could have been way worse and dangerous. Our trip was great otherwise. It went great. We had a great time. On our way home we came through some really heavy rainstorms. The trip in Florida was great, but the rainstorms on the way home were just insane. When we got home we noticed that the clothes in the corner closet, that one back there, were wet. I had never seen any other water damage, and it was the first time that I had noticed anything. But when I pulled and started investigating, I just found that the panels just like fell through when you touched them, and it was like the backside had rotted. And when I went outside to try to look for the leak, I found hail damage on the top of the camper. Not sure if you can see real well in the light the dents, but there's one there, it's just peppered. There's one out there in the center. It's just all completely dented. I do carry insurance on it, so I contacted my insurance company. We had another trip planned for July and a September trip. This was in May, so we needed to make the repairs and find a fix for the leak, because it was kind of a priority for us to keep using the camper. We had some extra insurance that was supposed to cover the leak for the roof, but it ended up not doing that. We called the insurance company. They told us to take it to a shop for an estimate and to assess the damage. Looking for something local, we found a company called Stoltzfus RVs. They're over in Adamstown, Pennsylvania. They said drop it off for a week or so and they can get us an estimate, so we did that on June 20th. In the meantime, our insurance company sent an inspector directly to that place and inspected the camper. They told us that the water damage was not covered. The hail damage, exterior panels, and the tire damage were all covered. We kind of created a repair list for Stoltzfus RVs, and we said we wanted them to repair the items that were included in the insurance estimate, and also to repair the damage from the leak, any of the rotted wood, And in the meantime, I had opened up the panels, the parts that went through, so you could kind of see inside there that there was damage to the structure of the camper. It was damaged the tire blowout, damaged the hail damaged exterior panels, and all the water damaged wood and paneling. Those were the three things that I asked them to do when I dropped it off. As time went by, I called and emailed the repair shop at least once, sometimes multiple times a week, to keep track of updates, but none came. I constantly was met with, "They were too busy, I'll get back to you," and non-returned phone calls. No quotes, no timelines, no estimated timelines. Meanwhile, our insurance company finalized their assessment, issued payment for the repairs, and after the camper had been at the shop for over a month, and we were rapidly approaching our planned trip, I arranged to pick it back up and go on our trip unrepaired. We took the camper on our family trip, planning to get the work done afterwards. After the trip, I did make contact with the insurance company and let them know that we were having difficulty getting in touch with Stoltzfus RV to get the quote and get the finalization and a schedule. I contacted Keith, who was listed on their website as the general manager, and he rattled the cage, I guess, a little bit of George, who was the service manager, to try to get some level of assistance. And this was in, I believe, I don't have the timeline in front of me. Hold on one second, let me find that. So I finally got a quote in July 29th. They gave me a 20 hours of labor plus parts quote. Their quote was $3,000 plus the work that the insurance had given, because the insurance get their estimate and they gave the money for that, and then the shop gave an additional $3,000, but they didn't line item any of the things that needed to be done. So they didn't respond with an actual repair estimate. They just gave me a quote, "It's going to cost this." That should have been a red flag, and if you're looking to do stuff on your camper, insist that you get a statement of work from the repair place so that they can be explicit about the items that they are going to repair, and also be explicit that you would like photos and or videos of the process. It is something that I did ask of them. During that process, I just asked, because I have it insured, I wanted them to be able to provide the documentation for the insurance company so that if I did have a roof leak in the future, I could say it was properly repaired previously. After emailing Keith, the general manager, they did contact me again. They got it scheduled. I should have, at that point, because of all the red flags, I should have canceled that. I should have gone to the insurance company to get them to reissue the checks without Stoltzfus RV on them. But by the time that this all got to that point, that this insurance company had issued the checks to Stoltzfus RV and me. So they had issued it in both names, which is a pretty common thing for insurance companies. So we proceeded with the repairs, and when we were told that it was done, I went to pick it up and I paid before they brought the camper around. Unfortunately, we also were headed out that weekend for another camping trip, so it wasn't the right time to fight with them about it. But when I went through and I looked at the work that they didn't replace any of the front outside panels. So the hail damage panels were not replaced. It was on the insurance company's quote, but they didn't replace them. They said the panels were the wrong size. New outside panels were wrong size. Replace middle panel only. Use that amount towards repairs. Rebuilt wood frame. Replaced panel inside closet. Installed new slide moldings and sealed. Did not take as long as quoted. Reflect customer owes $250 deductible and the difference from insurance repairs. So they ended up charging me $3,451. The insurance covered $1,262 basically. So I ended up spending $2,190 on the repairs. But they didn't fix any of the items on our list. They partially fixed some of the items on the list.
So they didn't take them off. I would have expected them to take those off and reseal that whole top. These they replaced. Did okay with that, except for leaving sharp edges down there.
They didn't replace the hail damaged panels. They didn't provide any documentation about anything that they had done underneath of the panels. They didn't seal up the roof, which would have been one of the things that they would have had to do had they returned the panels. So the leak was still there. And then because they put a new panel on, it was the wrong size, they moved the diamond plate panel up and created a gap at the bottom where the wood is now exposed, and all the water from the front of the camper will come down and contact that wood.
They dented and damaged and creased this panel, which I guess they had out to replace the rotted wood, but they dented it all the way across here, 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 all the way down through here, and then there's these scratches all over it. There's a dent here. And then the last thing, they changed where it's mounted. So the wood sticks out past the panel, and they straightened the panel out. They left it without the screws missing. There's actually a sharp piece right here. The wood is just going to rot.
I have been back and forth with them several times, and they have stopped communicating with me. So I'll show you, I'll interlace some photos and videos of the different things that they didn't do. But this should hopefully help you in your selection of a repair facility. Always get a complete statement of work, a quote, a complete, and be very explicit. If they are difficult to get a hold of, and they are unable to or unwilling to discuss the problem with you, then then do not give them business. If you at any point get a red flag or an amber flag, walk away. Contact your insurance company. Get them to reissue the checks if you're dealing with insurance. This deal with Stoltzfus RVs has been the worst experience in the industry that I've ever had to deal with, or even probably any service that I've ever had done. Mechanics, like anything. This has just been absolutely terrible. We took it back over to them, and the general manager agreed that the work was terrible. They dented up the panel that they bent and put back in place. It's arguably in worse shape now than it was when we took it to them, and it's not repaired. So, and the insurance company won't cover any additional damage to the front of the camper. So I'm stuck holding the bag. The insurance company has told me that there is nothing that they can do. Thanks, Progressive, but I guess I am stuck holding the bag on this one. If you guys have any advice or anything that you think I should try next, I think I'm going to try to fix the problems that I have myself. Try to move on from this. If you are from Stoltzfus RV and you want to try to make this right, you can call me. You know what my number is, and we will go from there. Hopefully I can help save somebody, anybody, from making the same mistake. Don't go to Stoltzfus RVs, and if you go to any service dealer, if you get any repair work done, get a complete written estimate that has explicit what they're going to do and what the expectation should be. That's it for now. Thank you for watching. We'll see you guys another time.